Hello, I'm Davia Chambers. Welcome to the month of brides, children on school break, and the wet season in Tobago. It's already a rainy June, and we're staying dry inside this week to report the news happening on the island. We're talking about blue food, good parenting, and women's health. It's this week's Let's Talk Tobago. We have highlights on an alternative public housing model. The face-to-face series meets with the Bethel Mount community, and later, a fun way for students to learn about Tobago's culture. These stories and more when Let's Talk Tobago continues.
The Tobago House of Assembly has a plan, the Comprehensive Economic Development Plan, CEDP, and it is for all of us. Are you ready to benefit from higher levels of development in Tobago and a higher standard of living?
We ready!
The priority areas are branding Tobago, clean, green, safe and serene, business development and entrepreneurship.
Are you ready?
Human capital development.
I'm ready.
Social development and resilience.
I'm ready.
Improved infrastructure and utilities. Enhanced safety and security.
I'm ready.
Environmental sustainability. Tourism.
Are you ready?
Marine resources and forestry.
Are you ready?
Good governance and institutional reform.
The CEDP is ready. Join us and get on board.
Let's travel the island, straight back to my land, even to Thailand.
Hey, why don't you step into the Scarborough Library facility? It has all the knowledge of our land, people and heritage that you just won't find online. The Scarborough Library facility is now open. Tobago Library Services. Information inspires innovation.
At the top of this half hour, we begin with a story that's of concern to many people: affordable housing. Whether it's a family house or an apartment, having a place to call home is a dream for everyone. We share with you now about a new model scheme to build quality public homes at a much lower cost. Here are details on the plan which is being implemented on the island.
It's still under construction, but this single-family housing unit is different from traditional public housing in Tobago. It's being facilitated by the Division of Settlements and Labour.
There is a need to reduce the cost of housing that we construct, and that way we can in fact do more with the monies that we have. So we went to the market to see whether alternatives existed that will meet the same structural integrity that is afforded to the traditional way we construct houses.
The cost for constructing this type of three-bedroom family home is between $450,000 to $500,000. That's about $200,000 less than what was previously built by the THA. But that does not mean it will be lacking in quality.
The alternative house that we have here is the walls are constructed of steel, which is anchored to the entire floor to the foundation, so that the entire wall system is a structural system. If you were to take a sledge to a block wall, to a glass wall, it will break. If you take a sledge to this wall, it will break, but the structure of the wall will remain. So it makes it essentially a stronger wall.
The plan is to use the empty lots at Bonaccord and Buku to build this kind of house, a structure that has other benefits.
So we live on an island. We tend to get minor to major earthquakes, yes. Even when we can't feel an earthquake, there'll be land shifts. You tend to have cracks in your wall, etc. That's not going to happen in a house like this. The steel frame and the plycem used for the exterior and the interior will totally absorb that, right? Other things, including things like how hot it will get in a concrete building. You won't have that issue here. The insulation in the walls will minimize the heat, as well as keeping the cool inside.
Housing construction using this model house began in April. It should be finished within 3 months. I'm Amadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
Dasheen, also known as blue food, is a root vegetable grown in Tobago and is part of the culinary tradition. 18 years of reinventing and showcasing the many uses of dasheen, including dasheen crisps, dasheen fudge, dasheen punch and wine, and even dasheen pizza, is why October's Blue Food Festival is considered one of the best food festivals in the world, keeping Tobago on the world's map. Caroline Wallace has this story.
Tobago's Blue Food Festival is one of the top 13 food festivals from around the world. That's according to a CNN web article by John Malathronas. The article says, quote, "The Mid-October festival gets its name from the dasheen itself, which when cooked turns blue, not normally a color associated with an edible foodstuff. The weekend-long festival attracts thousands of participants, rich and poor." End quote. It's a review that one of the organizers is pleased to hear.
Well, I feel very good. I feel very good that words are not coming to me to know that we bring up this massive festival and it's now on the World Wide Web and we are doing great. And I hope that we can go to number 1.
Mrs. Izan Williams-Chance is one of the participating cooks in the festival, making cakes, pastries, and drinks out of the root provisions for the past 11 years. She's also the author of Taste of Tobago, a cookbook inspired by the root crop. Mrs. Williams-Chance is also happy with the international recognition.
When you're in an association or a group like that, it's not very often that you get recognized. And to see that we as Tobago with the Blue Food Festival and the Division of Tourism and everyone, that we have reached to this top 13 list on the CNN Best Food Festival, which is really, really great.
The festival began in 1998. According to Mr. Chance, the idea came from then Tourism Secretary Stanley Baird, who was inspired by a crab fest he attended in Barbados. Mr. Baird suggested that residents of Lansamy host a similar event, with dasheen as its star ingredient.
For me, it's a great improvement from when it started, from what I saw when it started, because actually we have outgrown the space in Lansamy, so we are now down at the Bloodby Recreation Ground. And we have like 25 to 30 cooks per year participating in the festival, when it was like 4 to 5 different cooks at the time of the festival.
With support from the THA, residents and other corporate sponsors, the 2016 edition of the festival is promising to be even more memorable than the last. I'm Caroline Wallace for Let's Talk Tobago.
Cancer is a devastating disease which impacts many people around the world and throughout the Caribbean, as well as our loved ones here in Trinidad and Tobago. Prevention is important, especially for women who are often busy with family, children, and work and don't take the time for regular checkups. Omodara Mills brings us news on the mobile cancer screening, which is making its way directly to people in their community. Here are the details.
According to the World Health Organization, there were approximately 8.2 million cancer-related deaths in 2012, with about 14 million new cases. Breast and cervical cancers are two of the most common in women. Now, education is regarded as the best way to prevent the disease. That's why the Trinidad and Tobago Cancer Society is seeking to reach as many women as possible. Recently, the Cancer Society's mobile screening exercise provided free clinical breast exams and pap smears for women living in Castara, Belgarden and Roxborough.
We wanted to bring screening to the rural parts of Tobago because we realized that there is a need for easy, accessible and affordable screening in Tobago, and we took it a step further and made it absolutely free to women of Tobago.
The mobile screening campaign was carried out in Trinidad before coming to Tobago and is proving to be an effective way of detecting cancer early in women.
A couple persons came up to us, and actually one of the persons, there is an indication that there is an unhealthy cervix that we have seen, and I'm hoping and praying that it is something that we have nipped in the bud and that her prognosis will be on the positive side, and that treatment and repeat of the test would help her in her condition.
The sessions also included free lectures and the distribution of educational material relating to the types of cancers, preventing them, and treatment options.
We had a lot of women just, express their gratitude in terms of not being able to access pap smears or clinical breast exam or even the information at health centers that were closest to them, and having expressed that they would have to travel far distances to access pap smears or even breast exams. So having it come out and come to their doorstep in Scarborough, they were grateful, and because of that, we know that it's something that we should try to include annually in our programs, and we're definitely going to make the extra effort to be here again every year.
The mobile cancer screening campaign was made possible through collaboration among the Trinidad and Tobago Cancer Society, Scotiabank, and the Tobago Regional Health Authority. I'm Omadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
It's Face to Face with Bethel Mount Irvin after this short break. Let's Talk Tobago will be right back.
Welcome to the Scarborough Library facility. Here we utilize the latest technology to bring you library and information services. Once inside, the staff at the information desk will direct you to the relevant department. And now, our CSR Darian will help you through the registration process.
Thank you, Dave. Ready to register?
Hi, good afternoon. Yes, please.
Can you see your documents? One completed form, photo identification, and utility bill?
Yes.
Thanks much. This is your library card. It displays your user ID as well as your barcode. This information is also reflected on the reverse side. If you'd like, you can tear along the perforated line to detach the two pieces. This can be kept in your keychain, the other can be kept in your wallet or your purse.
But the Scarborough Library facility is so much more than just physical books. Once registered, you can log on to our website at library.diaz.tha.gov.tt. Scroll down to select the NALIS link. Once you are connected to the NALIS website, you can then download the Overdrive app to your Apple or Android devices. Using your personal account, you can borrow ebooks and access online databases. Renewal of physical books can also be done online. The new Scarborough Library facility will revolutionize your library experience, where information inspires innovation.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Tobago. I'm Davia Chambers, and we've got the latest from in and around the island. We head now to Bethel Mount Irvin. It was the next installment of the face-to-face community meeting series, and top priority for the residents was education and productivity. Crystal George has the details.
Residents have so far used the face-to-face THA community meeting series to lobby for improvements in their area, agriculture, infrastructure, and community facilities. But things went a little different in this electoral district of Bethel Mount Irvin. One resident shared his concern about what he saw as time wasting on project sites.
Every morning I get up, I see about 20, Monday to Friday, I see about 20 persons, men and women, sitting down, doing nothing. And it hurts me. When I say doing nothing, very little.
Unfortunately, it is one of the issues plaguing the division for a little while now, that we have some challenges in terms of getting materials and equipment and so on some of our construction projects. Because of that, some of our work is a bit slow in terms of its progress. It is something that we are working on because we recognize the difficulty of the economic situation that we are in, and overall the need for us to be productive and efficient. And we are therefore trying to work to improve our system of procuring materials and improve our system of procuring services and equipment, so that we could ensure that all our teams out there at any point in time have the materials and the resources and so on to be able to work and to work every day and to be able to make things happen.
Miss Kent, a resident of the village, is an educator. She wants to lend her services to anyone that needs help, but says she needs a location to conduct classes.
I would like to find out if the youth center could be reopened again so that I could have some more computer classes, because persons are always meeting you and they want to find out, you're having classes, but there is no building to have that facility transferred to.
It is our intention to have the center reopen in time for July, August, the holidays or the summer holidays, so that we can see a rollout of programs again in the community.
The next meeting is scheduled for Golden Lane Community Center on June 16th. I'm Crystal George for Let's Talk Tobago.
It's been 76 years of recognizing educators who dedicate their lives to their students. These teachers not only teach, but often play the role of parent, social worker, or even mediator. Currently Freitas has highlights from this year's anniversary celebration of the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association. Have a look.
She's living testimony of the saying, once a teacher, always a teacher. And for her selfless contributions to the teaching service in Tobago, Humilta Roberts Henry was named the Tutor Tobago Teachers District 2016 Icon. The awards ceremony was part of the district's celebration of Tutor's 76th anniversary.
Is Mrs. Humilta Roberts Henry. Mrs. Roberts Henry has had a very long and distinguished career in education and has made significant contributions to the development of students throughout the length and breadth of Tobago.
The theme for this year's celebration was Maneuvering the New Educational Landscape in Trinidad and Tobago, Rethink, Recharge, Reposition and Restart.
It is no secret that the education system in Trinidad and Tobago needs urgent transformation. And as educators, we are the vehicles through which this transformation must come. Teachers in Trinidad and Tobago must therefore closely examine their roles in the process of education of our charges. Students can reach their maximum potential if given the necessary guidance by our nation's teachers.
The teachers were encouraged to tackle the challenges of this new educational landscape.
We are relying on you to help us in maneuvering this maze that is education in Trinidad and Tobago. We are still fortunate. There are still things that are within our grasp. There are still some aspects are within our reach. We are not too far gone. And we are depending on you to ensure that we provide quality education for all of our children in Tobago and in Trinidad and Tobago.
The organization also recognized 11 retirees for the contributions they've made to the service on the island. I'm Curly Freitas for Let's Talk Tobago.
We all may need a helping hand at some time in life, and parents more than anyone have the challenge of providing a solid foundation for children who are the promise of the future. This next story shares how the Parenting Community Outreach Program is elevating the conversation of parenting children.
The goal of the Parenting Community Outreach Program is to encourage parents and provide awareness about dealing with issues facing today's children. One of the program's presenters highlighted the importance of having a sound education as it relates to children's development.
That, your children's education is worth what you invest in it. When you educate your children, you're actually feeding them, as it were, for life. Not only that, you're allowing for social mobility to take place. In other words, there is no place in this whole wide world for an uneducated boy or girl. But on the contrary, there's no one who can keep down or keep back a person with a sound education.
The children of the Hope Anglican School also shared some advice with the parents looking on.
Stop your drum, Mr. Drummer. Oh, ha. Joke is joke, but I'm tired with the complaining. Some parents only grumbling and fussing. It's time to stop the talking and get down to some serious parenting. Drag your bow, Mr. Fiddler. concerned that the standard of respect only falling. However, I feel very confident that a new day dawning, when all are sundry will come a calling, and we go tell all we neighbors a very pleasant good morning. Drag your ball, Mr. Fiddler. Oh, Mr. Fiddler, oh, ha, hi. Nowadays, parents and their children living too far apart. From long time teachings, we almost depart. Now let us spend whole day and night on the computer, cause too much a tablet can make them sicker and sicker. So drag your bone, Mr. Fiddler.
Parents were also urged to be good listeners when it comes to their children.
Responsible parenting would require that you maintain an open door policy. What do I mean by that? Always talk with your child. Talk with the child. You talk so that the child can listen, and you listen so that the child can talk. Because that's the only way whereby you're going to come to know and to understand what's really taking place in the life of the child.
The Parenting Outreach Program is an initiative of the Division of Education, Youth Affairs and Sport. I'm Caroline Wallace for Let's Talk Tobago.
Coming up, singing and dancing in school. It's a culture thing. Don't move. We'll be right back.
The Tobago House of Assembly has a plan, the Comprehensive Economic Development Plan, CEDP, and it is for all of us. Are you ready to benefit from higher levels of development in Tobago and a higher standard of living?
We ready!
The priority areas are branding Tobago, clean, green, safe and serene, business development and entrepreneurship.
Are you ready?
Human capital development.
I'm ready.
Social development and resilience.
I'm ready.
Improved infrastructure and utilities. Enhanced safety and security.
I'm ready.
Environmental sustainability. Tourism.
Are you ready?
Marine resources and forestry.
Are you ready?
Good governance and institutional reform.
The CEDP is ready. Join us and get on board.
Let's travel the island, straight back to my land, even to Thailand.
I'm Davia Chambers. Thanks for staying with us. St. Andrew's Anglican School was one of the first schools that received a visit from the Culture Club. It was a fun, informative way to present some of Tobago's culture to the students. Let's check in with Keyshawn Wilson for the story.
Students of the St. Andrew's Anglican School, who weren't versed in Tobago's cultural traditions. They now know folk songs, games from the past, and even the belly dance.
Today I learned the belly dance and I always wanted to learn it.
It's all a part of the educational component of the Culture Club Ensemble's 21st anniversary celebrations. The club will be visiting schools across the island, transferring knowledge on Tobago's customs to our youth.
We plan to do this celebration all the way into December, and we are in discussions with the other persons, some of the other schools. It's just that as you recognize the volume, that it will take some working. And we do plan to share not only in Tobago, but in Trinidad and two of the other Caribbean countries as well. But preserving the art is about transferring the culture and to ensure that it's safely nestled in the cradle where it can be preserved.
The school's principal endorses the initiative. She says it's the perfect opportunity for students to learn about Tobago's rich culture.
Because when you question them or have discussion with the children, there are many things that they don't know about our culture that we are trying to keep within the realms of Tobago. For instance, our heritage, many of them are not familiar with some of the folk songs, the folk tunes, the games we used to play.
So, is your school next? It just might be. I'm Keyshawn Wilson for Let's Talk Tobago.
So the kids are finally grown and out of the house and you're retired from your job. Have you given a second thought to those things you've always wanted to do? Maybe you want to learn how to play the guitar or perhaps learn how to send an email to your grandchildren. Well, this story takes us to the Scarborough Library to tell you about members of a group of seniors who are having a golden time. Have a look at this story.
Yellowbird is a tune 69-year-old Lennox Trotmont learned in this guitar class. It's a music course organized for members of the Golden Members Club. The group was started by the Scarborough Library facility to cater to the interests of senior citizens.
The library has to serve all members of the community, and the senior citizens as a group have proven themselves to be very interested in what the library has to offer. And in engaging with them, we are also seeing it as a means for them to also impart that knowledge to members of their families, to the community, to persons in church, because some of the persons who are doing the guitar playing, see, they'll now be able to do something at church, you know, based on the guitar, if they can, once they continue practicing and so on. So we see it as a win-win for all sides.
The club was born out of the Senior Citizens Computer Literacy Program, which began last year. The seniors loved the course and requested that the library facilitate other activities for them. So members like Mr. Trotman can take part in other activities such as poetry, chess, Scrabble, and conversational Spanish.
I think that is a very good initiative because as a senior, I learn from these programs, and I hope that all the seniors will come down here and let's have fun.
One of the guitar tutors, Sherwin Cunningham, expressed his thoughts on the initiative.
I think it is marvelous because most older folks, they give up. They home, they want to learn certain stuff, but because they tell themselves, well, I done all already, so they really give up. But the library taking this initiative to do that, I think it is wonderful, and people are showing interest, so there's a demand for it.
Since it opened in April, the club has grown to 100 members, and it's expected to expand further in time to come. I'm Omadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
Some say that the most important job in the world is raising healthy, happy children who are free from harm. But given the risky times we live in, how do you as a parent ensure your children's safety? That is this week's question that we pose to you. It's Have Your Say time, and here are the responses a few of you gave us.
As a father of two kids, you know, you had to show them the right track to walk, you know, walk in the Lord's way, you know, the company they keep, you know, do the right things, you know.
By monitoring my child's internet usage, making them aware of the disadvantages of putting their personal information out there, for example, the name, address, and phone contact.
The teaching I get from my parents, I want to share it onto the youths and them there because my parents and them talk to me a lot and I learn a lot.
Let them know the seriousness, you know, because in these days, there are very evilest things on the land, even in your home when you are not home. And number one, your children, do not leave them home at small age. Make sure that you have somebody responsible to take care of them.
To keep the right company. Make sure that the children that they are keeping the company are safe.
There are so many things, but the most important thing is to obey other people's instructions.
We close another edition of Let's Talk Tobago, and as always, we thank you for watching. Please email us with your comments or queries about the program, and be sure to visit our website, like us on Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. From our house to yours, I'm Davia Chambers, along with the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly, warmly wishing you a safe, healthy, and productive week.